Hello, and welcome back to another Chris McPherson Show Daily Dose. It's time to dig into the Australian Open as we recap some day one action, preview day two, and get excited for what is to come in the tennis as the first Grand Slam of 2026 starts to heat up. As always, make sure to hit like and get involved in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are, what your takeaways are, who you think will win in some of these key matchups we're going to have a look at tomorrow. But of course, if you're enjoying the content, you want to keep up to date with all of the episodes we drop, hit subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you again on future episodes. Now let's dig into it. There's plenty to get through, lots of matches. We've got the Sunday almost in the rear vision mirror, and there's certainly been some interesting results early doors across this tournament on the first day of play. We've already lost a number of seeds. We saw Dana Yastremska, the first to fall, the 26th seed, lost to Elena Ruse, the 74th ranked player, in 3 sets. She was the first bundled out. Then a couple more followed. Marta Kostyuk, the Ukrainian, the 20th seed, lost to Elsa Jacquemot in 3 tiebreak sets. Took out the first, but then went down in the second to 7-6, 6-7, 6-7. Katerina Alexandrova, the 11th seed, the highest ranked casualty of day one. She lost to Zeynep Sonmez from Turkey, the qualifier who won all her qualifying matches in straight sets, ranked 112 in the world. Fair to say, a massive boil over. On the men's side, they weren't without their victims. Flavio Caboli, the 20th seed, both 20th seeds out, lost to the Brit Arthur Ferry. 7-6, 6-4, 6-1. A pretty poor performance. He did cite illness in his post-match press conference, however, so that might be something to unpack for him there. But certainly we saw some really good form from him at the back end of the year, so that does put an asterisk on that as we head into 2026. There was also bad news for Australian men. On day one, Tristan Schoolcake was defeated in straight sets by Corentin Moutet, the 32nd seed from France. Jason Kubler lost in 3 sets to Francis Tiafoe, the 29th seed as well. He went well, took the first set to a tiebreak, but then started a fade against the experienced American 7-6, 6-3, 6-2. As we go to record, Adam Walton still to play against Carlos Alcaraz. Not highly optimistic on that one, but you never say never, of course. On the women's side, it was better news for the Aussies. Just Talia Gibson in action, and she claimed her first win against a top 70 player as she defeated Russia's Anna Blinkova 6-1, 6-3. A comprehensive win for Talia Gibson and a big confidence boost for her as she pushes forward. Probably the only other notable one, we talked about in our preview, Seb Korda from the US being a dangerous floater in his segment of the draw. He was actually knocked out by fellow American qualifier Michael Zhang in 5 sets. Zhang took the first 2, Korda fought back before Zhang sealed it in the 5th. So day one, we still have our top seeds, number one on both sides, the men's and the women's. Sabalenka and Alcaraz in action in the night session. Venus Williams is in action as we record as well. And we'll certainly be sure to talk about any boilovers or blowouts from the night session when we catch up again tomorrow. Now let's get into the day two action. There's plenty to look forward to both on the Aussie front and elsewise. Let's start with our top-ranked male player, Alex de Minaur, the 6th seed, who will now take on a lucky loser, originally drawn to take on Matteo Berrettini, the Italian, a dangerous player, well and truly in his own right. He had to withdraw on the eve of the tournament. He'll now come up against Mackenzie McDonald, the 113th ranked American, has been as high as 37 in the world, and has been as deep as the 4th round here in Australia. So certainly no easy beat, but for Alex de Minaur, certainly in the form he's in and the tennis he's played in recent times, you'd expect he should get this one done. He's got a 3-0 head-to-head record against McDonald, and I will be backing de Minaur in to get this one done in straight sets. We move on to our next match, and we're talking about John Cain Arena. This one will be Ayla Tomljanovic coming up against Ukrainian qualifier Yulia Starodubtseva. Now, these guys have only ever played once before. Starodubtseva, as I said, has had to go through the qualifying already, so has been busy in getting wins already this season. Their last clash was only in September of 2025, and Tomljanovic got it done in straight sets. Based on that, I think Tomljanovic is going to get it done. I have some doubts with Starodubtseva having a little bit more tennis under a belt this year, whether it'll just be as convincing as that other result, as much as that was on hard courts in Beijing as well. But I'm going to go Tomljanovic to get this one done in 3 sets. Moving on to the next one, and still on John Cain Arena. This will be the final match on John Cain tomorrow, straight after the Tomljanovic match. And it'll be Alexei Popyrin up against Alexander Muller of France. So 49 in the world, plays 50 in the world. They've only ever played once before on clay. I think this one's going to be an absolute arm wrestle. I think it's going to be one of the better matches of the day as well. Look, Popper hasn't had the best start to the year. Went out in the first round to Quentin Hullis in Brisbane, first round to Riley Opelka in Adelaide. But it's fair to say Muller's season hasn't been much better. He got to the second round in Hong Kong before also being eliminated in the first round in Auckland. So when we look at these two, so much similarity. Popper a little bit younger, but I'm going to go Popper to get this one done in 4, maybe 5 sets, but I'm going to lean to a 3-1. I think he might win the first, lose the second, and then come back and win the third and the fourth on Monday night. Looking forward to that one. We then go on to Kia Arena, where we have the Aussie wildcard Storm Hunter. She'll take on Jessica Bulzas-Moniro, the 40th ranked player in the world. Hunter's been on a bit of a slide in recent times due to different things that have gone on in her career. But she has started well this year, getting through 4 wins so far. She's qualified through here, not a wild card, apologies. While for Bulzas-Moniro, she's had 2 losses out of her 3 matches so far this season. She lost to Solana Sierra from Argentina, but then managed to come up against Coco Gauff and get it done against Coco Gauff at the United Cup, and then lost in the first round to Taylor Preston, the Aussie. So this is time for another Aussie to get the job done here. But I'd love to see Storm Hunter get it done. And at her best, I think she can, but I just don't think she's at her best at the moment. So I'm actually going to go for the 40th ranked player in the world, Bulzas-Moniro, to get the win in straight sets. I think that's going to be a bit of heartbreak on Kia Arena first up. We then go to 1573 Arena, where we see 2 absolute young guns come toe to toe, where we'll have Emerson Jones coming up against Victoria Mboko. Up to 16 in the world, the 17th seed, Victoria Mboko, Canadian star. We saw her win the WTA Masters event last year. Emerson Jones obviously starting to break through, one of our rising junior stars, just 17 years of age. She has already won 3 ITF titles, but this is the big time now. Victoria Mboko, a couple of years older, just a little bit more mature physically and ready to roll. I think Jones will go well in the first set. But whether or not she can actually take a set off Mboko, I think is going to be a good experience for her as she looks to try and push inside that top 100, get some more consistent appearances here, the Aussie wildcard. But I've got Mboko getting this one done in straight sets. I think she's actually going to be quite the danger in this tournament. Let's go to the match that we played before that on 1573 Arena, which will be Jordan Thompson, the Australian, who's drifted down to 111 in the world. He's been up to 26 before, taking on Juan Manuel Cerundolo from Argentina. Look, if Thompson's fit and healthy here, these guys have never played before, but if Thompson is fit and healthy here, I think he gets this one done probably in 4 sets. If it goes to 5, he's going to be really working hard because he hasn't been at full health. I think he needs to get it done in 3 or 4, but I've got Jordan Thompson getting it done. I think that'll possibly be the end of his road, unfortunately, though, for him. But it all depends on, is he at least 90% fit for Thompson? Because he's certainly at 90+% fit, better than his ranking indicates. Let's head on now to court 6, where we'll see Rinky Hijikata, one of the sensations of Australian tennis at different points in his career, coming up against Adrian Mannarino, one of the veterans of the tour. 5 tournaments to his name. This one could well and truly go the distance. I think it plays in Hijikata's favour if it does go the distance. He's got 13 years on Mannarino, and certainly looking forward to that. He's also got a lot more tennis under his belt so far this year. They've played twice before. Hijikata won the last one, which was in February last year on indoor hard court, so he certainly got the measure of him. But again, 6 matches so far for Hijikata. He played through qualifying in Brisbane before losing to Mpeshi Pericard in the second round. He then got past countryman Tristan Schoolcake in the first round in Adelaide, where for Adrian Mannarino, he's lost both his first round matches. Elliot Spitzeri in Auckland and Marin Cilic, another veteran in Croatia, from Croatia in Hong Kong. So not in great form at the moment, Adrian Mannarino. If he's at full health, this could be great, but I think Hijikata might get this one done in 4 or 5. I'm going to go Rinky Hijikata to take it in 5. Keeping on rolling and keeping things moving to get through all of them, we head now to Priscilla Hon, one of the Aussie wildcards. She takes on Canadian qualifier Marina Stakusic, two players that sit outside the top 120 in the world. Neither have really been significantly ensconced during their careers inside that top 100. Stakusic's still quite young at 21. Hon getting a little bit further into her career at 27. I think Hon's just a bit more experienced here. Stakusic will have the fact that she's got 3 qualifying matches under her belt. there, which is always good. Just the one match so far for Hon, where she lost to Yulia Putintseva in qualifying in Brisbane. But I actually think this is a great chance for Priscilla Hon. I've got her winning this one in 3 sets. I think it'll be a great encounter to watch out there on ANZ Arena, and really looking forward to that. And that, speaking of ANZ Arena, brings us to the final Aussie match of day 2. There's so many Aussies in action, which is wonderful to see. And it is Alexander Vukic. He will be taking on Thiago Tarante from Argentina, the 102nd ranked man in the draw. Vukic, 87 in the world. Has been inside the top 50, though. Look, neither of these guys have titles on the major tour. 6 challenger titles for Tarante, though. He's got plenty of experience playing at that level. But again, Vukic has been playing some good tennis to start the year. He got through qualifying in Adelaide, and then managed to get some results as well, including knocking out Stefanos Tsitsipas with 2 tie breaks. Andrea Vavasori as well before going down to Tommy Paul. Interestingly enough, Vavasori had knocked out Tarante in qualifying. So I like how this stacks up for Vukic, and I think he'll get it done. I'm leaning straight sets, but I'm going to go 4 sets. I'm going to give him a bit of margin for error. I'm going to go Alex Vukic to win this one. Actually, no, let's double that back. Let's go Alex Vukic to get this one done in straight sets. I want to see him take this to the next level. I know he can do an arm wrestle, but it's time for him to start stepping up if he wants to make his way back to the top 50. That then brings us on to our matches to watch, not involving the Aussies, and we'll have 3 men's and 3 women's. We'll start with this one. We talked about it when we did the catch-up on the draw with Christian Montigan from the first serve. Donna Vekic, formerly as high as 17 in the world, 4 tour titles, comes up against Mira Andreeva, the 18-year-old Russian star who broke out here a couple of years ago. She's currently ranked 8th in the world. It's been as high as 5. They've played once before these two, and Andreeva does have the head-to-head tie. It was back in 2024, but it was on a hard court. So it was 2024 when Andreeva would have been 16, maybe just 17 at that point. Andreeva's had a strong start to the year too. So I like what we've seen from her. Unfortunately for Vekic, she lost to Alex Iala, who we'll talk about in a moment, in 3 sets in Auckland in the first round, and that's all she's had booked in. But we've seen Andreeva make it to the quarters before she lost to Marta Koscheck in Brisbane, and then she's wrapped up yesterday the win over Victoria Mboko, also beating Diana Schneider, Maya Joint, and Marie Buzkova to take out the Adelaide title. So she's in some good hard court form here in the Aussie summer. This will be on Margaret Court Arena, the 3rd match of the day. So really looking forward to seeing this start in the night session. I think Andreeva, I think she'll get it done in straight sets. Vekic, at her best, would certainly mix it with her, but she's not quite at her best at the moment. Moving on to the next of our matches, and I mentioned Diana Schneider just before. Diana Schneider, the 23rd seed. She'll be last up on Key Arena. She'll be taking on Barbora Krejcikova, a 2-time Grand Slam champion. Krejcikova is going to be a handful for Schneider here, and it's going to be interesting to see how the 21-year-old takes on the experience of Krejcikova. She's not at her best. She's been as high as number 2 in the world, down at 55 now, but it's going to be interesting to see how she shapes. Krejcikova was knocked out in the first round of Hobart by Peyton Stearns earlier this week, whereas we saw, obviously, a semi-final loss in Adelaide against Mira Andreeva after wins over Emma Navarro, Katerina Siniakova, and Leylah Fernandez. Really puts Diana Schneider into some good form. I'm going to go Schneider to have a little bit of a hiccup here, but I think she's going to get it done in 3 tight sets against Krejcikova. Really looking forward to seeing that one. That one will be last up on Kia Arena. The final one of our women's matches that we're sort of earmarking here is Alicia Parks. She was certainly one to watch a year or two ago. She hasn't been at that same point. She got up as high as 40 in the world. She's down to 100th in the world, and she comes up against a youngster on the rise, Alex Iala from the Philippines, ranked currently at a career high of 49. I think she's still got more to go to her ceiling. This is going to be an interesting one. Iala in some decent form. She made it through to the semi-final in her first tournament of the year, where she lost to Xinyu Wang, but she knocked off Dana Vekic and Magdalene there, so certainly one to watch, as we touched on before. While, we have a look on the other side in Park, she's lost to Cocciaretto in the first round in Auckland, then missed out in qualifying in Hobart. So, look, I think Parks, if she can find her best tennis, can push Iala maybe to a 3rd set, but I think this is where Iala, if she wants to make that push towards the seeded spots, needs to go on a little bit of a run here, needs to advance forward and see what she can do. This is the first time that she's made it beyond qualifying, direct qualification, straight entry. So I think Iala gets this one done in straight sets. On to the men's matches that we're having a look at. In this next one, Marin Cilic versus Daniel Altmaier. Daniel Altmaier at a career high of 44. Marin Cilic back up to number 70 in the world. He dropped as far as number 3 in the world at one point. But, yeah, certainly looking forward to seeing how these guys go. It is a rough start to the year for Altmaier. He's 0-2 so far. Cilic 1-1. I don't think there's too much to take from their previous form. I just think the experience of Marin Cilic probably wins out here. I'm going to go Marin Cilic to get this one done. We saw what he did at Wimbledon earlier this year, mid last year. I'll get there eventually. Try and work out my days and years. But I think Cilic gets this one done in 4 sets. But really looking forward to seeing what Altmaier can do if he can try and mix it with him and continue to improve his ranking. But not a great start to the year. Penultimate game, we're going to talk about Arthur Rinderknecht. The 24th seed, this will be second up on court 12, will take on Hungary's Fabian Marozsan. Now, Marozsan's one that always is there or thereabouts. He can be a challenging player to take on early in a draw for a Grand Slam. Rinderknecht, all the expectation on him. So, yeah, certainly looking forward to seeing how this goes. They are 1-1 in terms of their head-to-head record. Rinderknecht winning at the Paris Masters last year, 7-6, 7-6 on the indoor hard court. Marozsan beat him back in 2023. So certainly when you have a look at it, both have good hard court records. Marozsan made it to the semi-final in Auckland where he lost to Jakob Mensik, but he knocked out Gael Monfils and Casper Ruud in the first 2 rounds. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing that. While for Rinderknecht, he lost to Stan Wawrinka and then beat Flavio Cobolli at the United Cup. So some mixed results for both. I actually think there's a chance of Marozsan getting this done, and I'm going to go Fabian Marozsan to win this, the 52nd ranked Hungarian, to win this in 4 sets and knock out one of our seeds. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. A lot of pressure on Marozsan there, but we'll wait and see. And the final one, John Cain Arena. It will be first up tomorrow. John Cain Arena, sorry, as I said, Felix Auger-Aliassime is what I was looking for there. The 7th seed coming up against Nuno Borges. FAA finished last season with a bang. However, didn't go as well this year getting started. He managed to get a win and a loss in his 2 games in the United Cup, and then he's just been warming up since then. While for Borges, he got 2 wins in Hong Kong, including beating Marin Cilic, who we talked about before. He also got a win in the first round in Auckland against Thomas Martin Echeverry for losing to Elliot Spazzeri, who feels like he's been a common thread through today's show. So looking forward to seeing how this shapes up. I think FAA is going to warm in. I actually like him as an outsider to win that quarter, even though it's got Zverev and Medvedev in it. So I'm going to get FAA to knock over the 45th ranked Portuguese man. I think he'll put up a bit of a fight. I think it'll be 3 tight sets. You might see something like 7-5, 6-4, 7-6, something like that, I think. But I think FAA should get it done. He needs to keep himself out of too much trouble to manage the load tomorrow morning, especially in the heat of Melbourne. But a big thank you to you all for tuning in. Great to start unpacking the tennis. We'll be back most days, if not all, unpacking and looking ahead to the tennis each day in the rear vision mirror and in the lens ahead. But as always, make sure to hit subscribe, hit like on the video, get involved in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are. What's the match to watch? Who is going to get it done that we've written off already? And who is your dark horse to win the men's and women's tournaments, respectively? Who are the Aussies that are going to go deep as well? As always, a big thanks to you for tuning into your home of the Black and White of Sports. No grey opinions here.